honored to attend International Scientific and Practical Conference to discuss philosophy of the future, ideas and meaning. Well, indeed, we live in a transformative world today, and we need transformative ideas. So I will share with you some of the ideas that I'm thinking of for China and beyond. Essentially, for so many decades, if not longer, whether political science or the social sciences are somehow predominated with Western mainstream ideas and theories. Paradigm shifts in political studies and also in its associated philosophical framework. The first paradigm shift is from the nation state to civilization state in terms of political and ideological framework. And this is very important for so many decades in political science, especially from the United States and more. It's more or less based on what's called the nation state as a modern state. And for nation state, you have to go through what's called the nation building process and state building process. Nation building means you have to shape from different ethnic groups, from different cultures, different religions, anyway, into one nation. And then for state capacity, it's about the way to govern the police force, customs service, and the multi-party system and more. But in both nation building and state building, the West is able to intervene in every stage of this process. The Chinese approach is no, we do want it. We have what we call civilization state, which is an amalgam of the world's longest continuous civilization, its civilizing traditions, with a super large modern state. For instance, the guiding philosophy for China's nation building and state building is called seeking truth from facts, 实事求是, which means it's a practice-based reasoning. Each and every stage, you listen to the people, what's your priorities? See, you prefer political order, you prefer improved living standards, you prefer other choices. So this is very important. And then we examine to what extent or whatever work can meet this kind of standards down from China's own traditions. And then you find that tradition and modernity can be combined in one. So this is something extremely amazing. And rather than separation of tradition and modernity, from Chinese success, we can see this can be combined into one. After all, within a few decades, China has evolved from a poverty-stricken country with lower GDP than most African countries to what's the largest economy purchasing our territory from 2014. So now it's already 12 years, China is a much larger economy than the US economy. Furthermore, China's life expectancy is also higher than the United States. And per capita daily consumption of protein and vegetables and fruits also higher than the United States. Furthermore, in terms of technologies, if you look at the ASPI report, out of the 64 critical technologies, most critical technologies, China beats the United States in 57. So it's already totally different. We talk about multipolarity, definitely China is an important pole. Behind this is the rise of civilization state, its continuity of civilization and its modern manifestations. Like Russia, it's also civilization state. Civilization state have one shared feature, that is deep culture and deep people. That makes our modernization very unique and different from Western style modernization. So that's the first paradigm shift from nation state to civilization state. The second paradigm shift is from so-called democracy versus autocracy, which is a paradigm I Cold War years by the West, where democracy is autocracy. But we said no, it's the old outdated Cold War tinged metaphor and paradigm. We should get rid of it. So our philosophy is if there are only two types. It's good governance versus bad governance. And good governance may take the form of certain Western systems and may not take the form of Western system. It can be other political systems. And Chinese is one of them, which delivers to the people, which is very important. Then what's the relation between democracy and good governance? From Chinese point of view, and Chinese political philosophical point of view, it's in Chinese philosophy we always discuss Tao, the overall purpose, the overall objective, the long-term final objective, and Shu means specifics, concrete actions, and procedures. So democracy, if we discuss democracy at the level of Tao, from Chinese point of view, it's mainly about how to practice and achieve good governance. And then you have to practice, realize this objective and this Tao into Shu, into specifics. For instance, China learned from the Soviet Union 5-year plan. Yet we have also adapted to China's own national conditions. It's no longer a mandatory plan to how many shoes the factory will produce. No, it's a strategic plan, long-term plan. Say, for instance, China now produce globally 60%, no, 80% EVs, electric vehicles. But this is the result of at least 4 or 5 year plans, 20 years, and long-term commitment. And China also turned its deserts into the hub centers for China's new power, green power generation. Taklamakan Desert is a site of Germany, and it's now turning into a hub for generating new green energies. So this is revolutionary. It's over 50 years commitment, consistent commitment. So we talk about this in terms of good governance. So good governance and bad governance, this is a much fair paradigm, and better paradigm than so-called democracy versus autocracy, democracy defined by the no absolutely to this kind of paradigm. And the third paradigm shift from Chinese experience is for political party, for ruling party. We said that in Chinese political philosophy, Chinese Communist Party is what we call holistic interest party. The typical Western political party, or party under Western political model, is a partisan interest political party. So it's very different. And this holistic interest party comes from China's own tradition. The West always criticized China. So you have the one party rule. I said, I'm sorry, for the past over 2,000 years, when China was first unified in 221 BC. So over 2,000 years have been mostly 95% of time. They've been governed by a kind of unified ruling entities. All of these 2,000 years, 80% if not more, China was a more developed economy than European states. So this is very important. And for most of the time, China was ruled by a unified entity. And Chinese Communist Party is a continuation and evolution of that tradition. Otherwise, the country disintegrated. China copied the Western political model, American style, in the year 1911 revolution, and the country fell into civil wars between warlords. So, with a holistic interest party, then you can plan for the future. Without this kind of party, you cannot plan for the future. Because only 4 years, another party will destroy the party plan, whatever, made by previous political parties. So China has this continuation. And also, you can adopt what's called the holistic approach. I look at Germany, they want to bring green energy, and then they explode this coal-fired power plants, and then they abandon nuclear power plants. Then there's a huge shortage of renewable energy, and then German industry suffered badly, not to mention the whole problem with Nord Stream, the
3, etc. projects abandoned. So Chinese approach is much more holistic. Coal-fired can be done in a cleaner way. Nuclear power station is a very important part of clean energy. And renewable energy very solid. So despite whatever crisis in the Middle East, China's energy supply is very solid. Our dependency on foreign sources is only 15%, 1.5. So 85% self-dependency. So that's strategically very important. So I just give this quick overview of the 3 paradigm shift as a way to share Chinese thinking about today and future. I wonder whether I could still have 2 or 3 minutes. If not, I will stop here. If yes, I will speak a bit about AI. Oh, okay, thank you. Because the world today is talking a lot about AI competition between China and the United States, which represent 2 different models. The American model is the monopoly of the 7 Silicon Valley companies, super rich, and with a lot of bubbles as well. And it's closed source. The Chinese approach is open source. The idea is AI should empower each and every sector of China's economy. AI should be used by affordable, by ordinary people. Should be open source. So every village in China now we could do 4G, 5G stations, extensively used. Behind this is Chinese philosophy, deeply rooted AI for good. As a result, we advocate openly what's called human-centered AI and people-centered AI development. So AI must serve human beings, not vice versa. And this is very important. And then, philosophically speaking, if you look at the documents of the Chinese counterpart, there are very important objectives. It's called CPC should represent the most advanced productivity. So AI is considered as a part of the most advanced productivity. And then we consider this as the most advanced productivity, which means this is something what we call irresistible. You can't. You have no way to resist. So the Chinese philosophy is that we accept this fact, calm, and embrace it. That in the process of developing AI or other new technologies, we try to make sure to serve the people. We do it critically. If there are good aspects and bad aspects, we try to maximize its good aspects and minimize its bad aspects. So rather than the theory, we cannot do this, we can do that, we said, embrace it courageously and try to resolve problems on the way as they emerge. We tackle them one by one. I could give you more examples on that, but philosophy is more or less like this. So it's open source AI development, people-centered AI development, and human-centered AI development. That is Chinese philosophy. Thank you very much.